I'm excited about getting our next guest on. Brand new coach for UNLV, the Runnin' Rebels. The football program, it was I can't say even reinvented. It was invented or got a culture under Barry Odom. It's going to continue under Dan Mullen. Great hire. And I think another good hire is Josh Pastner. You're talking about a guy that has extensive experience as a head coach in the Atlantic Coast Conference at Georgia Tech, 2016 through 2023, Conference USA, American Athletic Conference at Memphis, 2009 through 2016, comes to UNLV after serving as a television analyst for the past 2 years as a collegiate head coach. He's 47 years old, joining the show, has an overall record of 276 wins, 187 losses over 14 seasons. He has led his team to a total of 4 conference tournament championships, 2 conference regular season championships, and 7 postseason appearances, 5 in the NCAA tournament, 2 in the NIT, was named the 2017 ACC Coach of the Year and the 2013 Conference USA Coach of the Year. Coach Pastner, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you joining us this morning.
Brian, thanks for having me, man. I need a haircut. I've been going 24/7, 365. I haven't had a chance to stop, and I've loved every second of it. So I can see on my hair there and the way I look, I got, gosh, goodness gracious, I got to get a haircut. You know what happens when you're trying to build a roster basically from scratch? There's a lot of things you forget about. That, don't worry, I take a shower and wear deodorant. But there's a lot of other things, and I brush my teeth. But after that, you forget about a lot of other things that you need to take care of, including that of getting a haircut and all those type of things. But right now, your mind's just focused. You know this, Brian, that you're just, because of the portal. And when you take over, when I took over the job, everybody was in the portal. The entire team was in the portal. So I started with 0. So I had to you're trying to build it back, and you're just thinking, like, every waking second that your mind is racing, thinking, what do we need to do? How do we put ourselves in position to get the right players? And there's a lot of great players in the portal. And as you know, you've got to find the right ones. I've said this many times. The evaluation is still so important. You can just throw money around, does not guarantee you're going to have a successful basketball team. You've got to evaluate and still coach and develop players. I think those are still things that are still critical in having an opportunity to have success with your program.
I would agree with you. And hey, Josh, don't worry about that. Look what I do. I throw on a hat. My most important thing was making sure I repped UNLV today and put the shirt on, as you can see. But throw a hat on in the morning, get some hot water in my eyes, and I run in here on Sunday morning. So don't worry about that. It looks like you're in a hotel room somewhere. Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I'm staying over at the South Point. So I've been living in the hotel. I've been living in 2 places: the hotel to sleep for my little couple hours here or there, and then living at the office. I mean, I've been literally at those 2 spots, nowhere else. I sometimes break to be able to, late at night, about at 10 o'clock, I'll go somewhere to get a quick bite to eat, but I just haven't had time to think anything else but other than UNLV basketball, building the roster, trying to get out there in the community, trying to rally people, sharing our message, sharing the vision, and making sure that we get the message out. Because, Brian, we talked about this when I got the job, and I talked about this in my press conference. This has got to be the community's team. This has got to be Las Vegas's team. We got to roll up the sleeves, put the working boots on, the hard hat on, and get out in the community and rally everybody to be part of their program. This is their program. I understand, sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in as a head coach at the UNLV Runnin' Rebel basketball program, that, like, you got to pinch yourself to think like you're one of the most storied programs in the history of college sports, and I'm sitting in that chair. And so I recognize that, and I'm not taking it for granted for 1 second. So every waking second that I have, all I'm thinking about is, how do we move UNLV basketball forward? And so, look, I've told people, Brian, look, as NIL is critical. Like it's part of the game in this day and age. You've got to have NIL. So I've got to go out there and raise money and have on NIL. Whether people agree with it or disagree with it, it's not going backwards. So you've got to be able to have NIL to move things forward. But I've also told everybody in the community that let's get Thomas and Mack back to being one of the great home court advantages in the entire country. So maybe you can't do something with the NIL. What about buying season tickets? We got to get people back into the tickets. You can go to UNLVtickets.com, UNLVtickets.com if you want to purchase some tickets. We've got to put a great product on the floor. Obviously, winning is important, but more than that, also playing the right way, playing running Rebel basketball, not dribbling Rebel basketball, not slow down Rebel basketball, running Rebel basketball will give an exciting and enthusiastic approach for the fans to come back and enjoy their team.
Yeah, I want to see that. And I imagine you are all over the transfer porthole like a hobo on a ham sandwich. But anything you can share with us this time, because I keep getting asked, who is on the roster for the 2025 season coming up here?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so, yes, we are on the portal, and it is nonstop, as you know. But right now we have the 2 signees. We have 2 high school signees that are coming in. Local kid, Mason Abaton, here locally, and then Tyron Jones, who's another Vegas kid who went to school out in Utah for this year. So those 2 young men are coming this upcoming year. They'll be here. We've got James Evans Jr., who was an academic redshirt last year. You did not get to see him play, but he's a good player. We had to recruit him, and he's gotten back. And then Jacob Barnable, who's going to be back as well too. We had to kind of recruit him, and he's going to be back. So I'm excited about him. We've gotten a commitment yesterday. We're going to be some other commitments we're going to get as we move forward, and we're still trying to, recruit. There's another guy or 2 within the program that's in the portal. We can kind of circle back. So I like where we're at. Look, it's a lot of work to be done, and it's like for example, this weekend they called a dead period. So from Thursday to Thursday, you can't do any recruiting off campus, or anybody can't come to campus because it's centered around the Final Four. I haven't been at home since I got the job. I've been here and I haven't seen my kids or my family at all. And I was thinking, well, maybe I should go home for a day or 2 just to see my kids. But then I was thinking, you know what? I'm not leaving Las Vegas until our roster is set. And I said, and Brian, I love my wife and children. There's nothing more important to me. However, my wife and kids can't make a jump shot next year for us to help us win games. So it is what it is. I'm not leaving here until we get our roster set. Once our roster's set, I'll go home, see my kids, and help, and then get them ready to get back to move out here to Las Vegas.
Now, Coach, your father was a coach, AAU coach in Houston, I know, and funny, we were actually just talking about the renaissance of basketball in that city between the Rockets and the Cougars before you came on. But you probably remember coming to Vegas for the Adidas Super 64 and all these huge AAU and high school basketball tournaments. But how much has the portal and NIL completely changed all of that and the way you have to recruit? And is it a case of you need to adapt to survive?
Well, here a few things. Number one, correct on the Houston Cougars. I mean, congrats to them. They've, what a great. I mean, Kelvin Sampson might be the best coach in the game today. I mean, I think there's no doubt about that. Secondly, yes, doing television the last couple of years, I've had more coaches, and of course, and everybody in the profession have told me, like, don't ever come back to the profession. Everyone is so negative about the profession. I'm actually the other way. Like, I love this way, believe it or not. Yeah, there's some things to it that can be a little bit different, but I look at it as the glass is not half full, but as overflowing. And let me tell you why. The portal and the NIL is here to stay, not going anywhere. I think when I took over programs at Georgia Tech and Memphis, guys, you had what you do when you take over those programs, you have your current team already set because there was no portal. You would work your team out. You would then go see some unsigned seniors. You would go around all the different high schools in the backyard. You take over UNLV in this climate, in this time period, all you're doing is you have no roster, and you're going out trying to raise money, and you're trying to get guys in the portal and watching a lot of film on everybody and have to make decisions. Another reason, one of the reasons I like this is I'm not a guy that wants to waste any time. I believe in efficiency. And when you're recruiting prior to the NIL and portal, all this, I would recruit a kid for 3-4 years. You spend so much time of your life chasing those guys, and then they come down their senior year, have 5 schools to make a decision. Then they cut it down to 3. They take the official visits and all that good stuff. And then at the very end, if they don't choose you, it is a heartbroken moment because you spent 4 years of your life with this kid trying to cultivate that relationship, and it's heartbroken. The great thing about this, you take the 3-4 years and you take that out, and now you just streamline it to 3 or 4 weeks. Now the decisions have to be quicker, and you've got to be great at evaluating via film, but it's just a much more quicker process. And now I think the hardest part of this that I found that I would say that's, okay, how do we make this a little bit of a change? I would say 2 things. One is I think the portal window to be open is too long because the portal window is open until it starts in March. It's about 30 days. It's too long of a window because there's so many guys coming in. They need to shorten the window. The second thing, there needs to be more transparency. So for example, if I'm recruiting Brian and I'm trying to get Brian and all these guys have agents, everyone now is allowable to have agents. There is no transparency. So if I'm talking to Brian and I don't know what Brian's technical market value is, is it 200,000? Is it 75 grand? Is it 350? Is it 750? I don't know. It's hard to do it. You're kind of competing against what the agent's telling you and the kids telling you, saying what these are what other schools are saying, but you don't know if that's real or not. So you don't know if you're outbidding yourself. And I think that's the hard part of it all without the transparency. And as you guys know, in the NBA or the professional leagues, there's transparency. So if someone's going to offer someone $5 million, okay, they can't tell you, well, I'm getting offered 15 and it's really only 5. That's the thing. And right now, if I'm talking to a kid and I think he's really good and he says, hey, it's going to cost you $600,000. Well, I don't know if that's really true. I don't know if the 5 other schools he's talking to are only offering him $250,000 and vice versa. So that's where the hard part is. And I think those 2 things, they got to shorten the portal window, and somehow there's got to be a way where there's transparency, where everybody knows what's the money's going around. So you're not just outbidding yourself. And I think that's the hard part. I mean, that's just the hard part on trying to make that evaluation on, it's not much as it's you're trying to evaluate on someone and determining based on that, okay, is it 200, 300, 175? And this is real money, guys. I mean, this isn't like $500 or 75. This is real big time money. So it's an interesting kind of concept, but I love it. I think I'm happy about it. I love the new model. I think I'm set up because I'm not a guy that's going to be negative about it. I'm excited about it, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, I said for years before it happened, Josh, that I thought that college athletes should be stipend. You see an athletic director, and I think Eric Harper's a great one, by the way, but walking around, on certain campuses at certain schools wearing $1,000 Italian suits. Everyone's walking around campus wearing the quarterback's jersey, and the quarterback can't even afford a car. I've always thought that was a little bit of a problem. But aside from the money, when recruiting players out of high school in the portal, what is the approach in convincing players to come to UNLV?
Yeah, and I'll answer that. I think the only way to kind of make this work moving forward is either the federal government has to put a federal law in so the NC2A for antitrust does not get sued, or you got to make everyone employees. I think it's the only way that this is going to kind of be settled when it's all said and done, because without one of the two, you're just going to keep having lawsuits. And the NC2A is going to continue to lose every lawsuit. So that's for a separate thing. In regards to selling to the basketball program, a couple things. First of all, Las Vegas is the epicenter right now of the entertainment industry. It's becoming the epicenter of the sports industry. You think about the opportunity right now. This job is a sleeping giant. The trees just need to be rattled to wake the giant up, and guys have an opportunity to do that. most of the kids we're recruiting, or all the kids that we're recruiting, none of them were born in the late 80s, early 90s. So they might not understand the history of UNLV basketball, but their parents do. Every time I've talked to one of the kids, the parents' favorite team growing up, or their first jersey, was all about UNLV. They loved the team in the 80s and 90s. Again, the players weren't born then, so they might not be as familiar with the history of the program, but to have that chance to try to bring it back and to sell that, hey, we want to be the Runnin' Rebels. Like, we got to get back to being Runnin'. Because we're in Las Vegas. Winning matters. I get all that. That's priority number one. But behind the winning, you want to play a great style of play that excites the fan base, that excites the community, that excites the former players, that put the sweat and the tears in to make the program what it is. And you got to make it exciting for the recruits to want to come here. It's all part of the dynamic of being here in Las Vegas. And so we're constantly selling it. Plus, what I want us to be in one of the great conditioned teams in the country. I believe in VO2 max, cardiovascular conditioning. You cannot be an elite level athlete or a team if your team's not in elite level cardiovascular shape. You can't play at a high level on both ends of the floor unless you have that first. And then on the other side, look, we're going to player development. I've survived my entire career in basketball on getting guys better, on developing guys, even guys underneath the radar. So that's another sell, that we're going to develop you. We're going to get you better. We're going to be in the trenches with you to get you to be at the level that you want to be at. So that's all part of it. Obviously, you have a great school here academically with UNLV. And so there's so many positive things. And then and you even take NIL out for a second. There's so many powerful people in this community that you play the right way. They're watching you play. This becomes a 40-year decision. You never know. Someone falls in love with your game and falls in love with your personality. You never know when you're 35, 40 years of age, and they're going into business with you. You want to open a restaurant. You want to open a certain business. And because they were so attracted to how you played and the way you played, they want to be involved with you 20 years down the road. So all those things are part of our sell to attract great talent to UNLV.
Talking to Josh Pastner, new Runnin' Rebel head coach, and we're just about out of time, Josh. So I want to get your final thoughts on tomorrow's national championship game. Houston, Florida, who wins and why?
Well, when I was on TV, I picked Houston to win the national championship. So I am picking Houston to win the national championship. I do think they're going to win tomorrow night. The only thing is, I would say that Duke, I felt, was the best team in the country with a healthy Cooper Flag. And so they had the game won last night. Credit to Houston to be able to find a way to fight and scrap and win the game. That all being said, I do think Duke, because of the amount of pros or lottery picks that they have, they were the best team overall. But Houston is going to win it tomorrow. I just don't see them not winning it, especially what they do on the defensive end, the rebounding wise. I think they're destined to win it. I picked them from before the tournament started, and it's just with what they do and how they do it. I think it's I don't see them not winning the championship tomorrow night.
I think it's a good call. And when you talk about a defense as suffocating as I've ever seen in my life, he is Josh Pastner, new coach at UNLV, the Runnin' Rebels, looking to reestablish the culture out here. Josh, I think you're going to do it. I wanted to bring Spencer in. We don't have time, but Spencer, you got to love what you heard. I'm sure you do. Josh, again, we'll be having you on the show again in the future. Really appreciate you taking the time out this morning to join us.
Anytime. Thanks for having me on. Hey, www.unlvtickets.com. Get your tickets, unlvtickets.com. Let's go, Runnin' Rebels, unlvtickets.com.
I absolutely love it. Josh Pastner, you got to love the guy, man. Here at UNLV.